Hey there, Chadi Bazzi here, and welcome to another episode of the Top Listing Agent Show. As you know, most recently, I've been trying to expose our audience to the best of the best in the real estate industry, whether that be with other coaches, influencers, real estate agents, etc., to help you build up your brokerage if you have a brokerage, to help you in your real estate business if you are just a solo real estate agent, to help you build a team if that is what the direction you are traveling into, to help you with your skills if that is the thing that you're looking for, to help you with your mindset, to help you with just about anything and everything that you need to step up, level up, and build a top listing agent business. And today, I've discovered a guest that's going to talk about something that we've never talked about on the show, and that is artificial intelligence. That is the future that most people are unaware of. And that is not just the future, that is the intelligence that's going to make you look more intelligent in front of your clientele. And that is the intelligence that's going to help you find opportunities that currently exist underneath you right now in your business. You're sitting on a gold mine that you're not tapping into because, rightfully so, you don't know how until now, as we bring you Mr. Brad McDaniel. Welcome to the Top Listing Agent Show, my brother.
Chadi, thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate it. And I look forward to having this discussion about artificial intelligence and how it can help agents and teams.
Awesome, brother. You know, I'm loving about like how I introduced your name, because like for the last 4 or 5 people that have come on the show, I'd be like, I'm not going to butcher their last name because I couldn't pronounce it. Yours is rather easy.
Yes, the luck of the Irish there, huh?
Exactly. So, hey, Brad, welcome to the show. I know that a lot of our audience most likely don't know who you are, what you do. Can you introduce yourself and, just tell the world how awesome you are?
Well, thank you. I don't know how awesome I am, but I can give you a little background about who I am. My name is Brad McDaniel. I founded and run a company called Likely.AI, where we use artificial intelligence to deliver intelligence as a service to the real estate investor and mortgage origination industry. Spent about 10, 12 years kind of coming up in the industry. Did a business like this back in 2007, but we were well ahead of our time to where the technology stack wasn't there. So GPUs, which are really high-tech computers, weren't cost effectively available because AWS didn't exist. Data scientists were called grad students. And if you had a CRM, you were doing really well. And so from then till now, we've seen the industry evolve. And I've gotten a front row seat coming up through Market Leader and Trulia, and then Level and Zillow acquired us to come down and found a couple other startups. But right now, what I'm really passionate about is finding other ways to help the real estate practitioner, anyone within the real estate ecosystem, source better business.
So basically, I think, one of the things that I just want to, kind of hint about, maybe we can talk a little bit more about later on, just to capture the audience listening right now as to why they need to stick around. Because I think one of the biggest challenges that people are having, pretty much across the country is this whole entire conversation about like Zillow and the likes of Zillow trying to replace the real estate agent, et cetera. So I personally believe your technology, your AI, I'm not going to say it's going to beat the company, the Zillows of the world, but it's going to beat them in terms of like to the client, to where you get the client yourself without having to rely on anybody like that to go out there and get it for you for a fraction of the cost, for pennies on the dollar. Is that a true statement?
That is better said than I could have. And it's one of those interesting things when you kind of step back and take a look at the trends. You start to see kind of the forest from amongst the trees, right? And I did this a couple of weeks ago, and what I saw really kind of shocked me. I didn't expect to see it, which is if you just look at kind of next gen brokers versus traditional brokerages, and kind of like Redfin versus maybe an EXP or a Compass, kind of all in that same category, right? A little bit, but the big difference is that Redfin, they have about 85.2 million unique monthly visitors, that's pretty good traffic, right? Compared to say EXP, which is about 1.6 million. So there's a really big difference there. And then you look at productivity stats by the agents. Redfin is about 42 transactions per year per agent. That's really good compared to traditional about 6 transactions a year. So when you step back and say, okay, what if the big gorilla jumped into this mix, Zillow, right? Everyone likes to throw that name around. And they get 302 million unique visitors per year. If they were as productive, or their agents, if they decided to stand up agents overnight, were as productive as Redfin's, 97.8% of the agents would no longer be necessary. I was like, whoa, okay. Wow. 97% of agents, and you know that Zillow's good at making things productive and efficient because that's what they do. So what's to say that we live in a world all of a sudden where they have built out their investing side, their iBuyer side, and then they say, you know what, my agent business, we've had 3 consecutive quarters of profitability from the premier agents. Man, that's where the bulk of our revenue is coming from, the paying for this loss leader on their side. Like, what do we do? What if they say, you know what, I don't want just a referral fee anymore. I want all of it. And they anoint agents in each market, or they somehow stand up 1,000 agents or maybe 10,000 agents somewhere. You only need about 40,000 agents to handle 6.4 million transactions a year. That's including new and existing construction. So, wow. Okay, hold on. Like that shocked me, honestly. I didn't expect to find a number that big. When I kind of started to step through the numbers. So that's when I said, okay, I need to start talking. And that's why I reached out to you, Chadi, because you have a great audience. And I was like, I would love to share, this kind of shocking piece to your audience and go, what do we do? We got to solve this. If we don't solve this, then there could come a day when all of a sudden your lead flow just gets shut off, right? And they just say, we're going to keep it for ourselves. So they're going to give you the worst bit of the bunch, or it's going to become a branding play with no actual, transaction flow coming out of those thousands of dollars you spend on portals per month. So the whole thing that I'm looking forward to getting into this with you is, how do we help or enable the agents, teams, brokerages today prepare for that inevitable transition? Now, and it's not going to probably happen like a light switch. It's not going to be gloom and doom, but it's a reality that there's such a huge percentage there. To some degree, that's going to happen. And
right. And Brad, I don't mean to interrupt you. And, one of the things that I've been telling, the people that I work with very intimately, very closely is this. Hey, we can't predict the future. We see where the future is going. Yeah. Okay. Just like, you were doing, AI way back when nobody even knew what that was.
When it wasn't even called AI. Yeah.
There's somebody right now probably working on something to, take over the industry or impact the industry one way or another, or impact the real estate agent one way or another that we're not aware of and might come out of nowhere, et cetera. So I tell my agents, make as much money as fast as you possibly can. Okay. Yeah. Save as much as you possibly can. And then if anything happens, who cares? That's what your technology is going to do. It's going to help people make more money quicker, land the opportunities that they are missing out on right now. So you went out there, you went to work, and you found a solution. So tell us about Likely.AI. Did I say that right? Likely.AI?
Likely.AI. Yeah, that's what we do. So what we do is using artificial intelligence. And one of the reasons why I got back into this, we got a patent for it in 2013, predicting future events. And I sat back and watched some of these kind of first gen predictive analytic AI companies kind of jump forward and then fall down. What was really frustrating watching that is that the technology is legit. It was just the implementation was mostly on marketing automation platforms. And so it's like, all right, I think there's a real opportunity to build an intelligence platform as like a delivery system for intelligence to the real estate industry. And so to do that, we had to actually build something that uses artificial intelligence or ML. Now, I would like to debunk one thing real quick, is that a lot of people think that artificial intelligence is a lot smarter than it is. And I'm not here to, kind of, I guess, put a cloud around something and make it mystical and it's all knowing, because it's not. It's really good at certain things, but it's not great at everything. And I think that's where a lot of people get this misnomer, misconception about what exactly does it do? Well, it's really good at pattern recognition. It's really good at classification. It's learning how to drive cars, but the data scientists that do that don't know why. they can't tell you, right? And so when you apply those kind of crazy deep learning nets to what we do, like in real estate, we've actually did it for a year and a half, started to work really well, and then it blew up. So we tried so many different things. And now we have a really keen sense of how to do this. Now, what we do, to your point, and how can we help, is that we with this world-changing event potentially happening, we think that we need to help agents, teams, brokerages learn how to recruit, retain, feed themselves, basically, right? Teach a man to fish. And in this case, it's how to generate business that's not sourced from online leads, right? Because I think a lot of people have become addicted to a degree to, whether it's PPC or portal traffic. And PPC traffic, you can't really, sellers don't operate that way. You can't source it as well. The best you can do is what's my house worth, right? And so we built a platform where you can do kind of two things. One is either you can license a county, and we give you all the likely seller predictions each month, updated, nice little UI. You can play with it. You can even skip trace numbers and do some other things. Basically, here's a really good audience for you to turn from unknowns to knowns, right? Leveraging whatever marketing platforms and channels that fit your brand. It's that simple. And then along that journey, we started working with banks and so forth. That's why we sell at a county level. But what we really found is we like working with agents and teams and brokerages. Along that journey, we got a lot of requests about, hey, I get so much business from my database, and I would love to be able to harness this technology to help me spend more time with the right people, right? It's money, time. Like that's what we always heard, is money and time. Where can I spend less money and invest the right amount of time? And so what we've launched recently is we call a database refresh, which is where you take literally your set of addresses you care about, right? Call it a contact database, call it your CRM, call it your friends from your country club.
Whatever, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, whatever. If it has an address, city, state, zip in it, drag and drop it in, right? And then what we do is we normalize it, dedupe it, return back who is most likely to list. We give you actually our prediction, who's potentially COVID distressed. Does the last name match? So have the people moved and didn't use you, along with property characteristics and several other things that are just kind of enhance and kind of fill out maybe that list of prospects or past clients you have, all under one premise, is to allow you to then push that directly back into whatever system you're using or want to use in order to trigger automated marketing campaigns or put it into your triple dialer or however you contact and however your brand connects. I think someone on one of your early shows was all about frequency, not just how often you hit them, but how many different frequencies you hit them on. I love that. I thought that was a great statement.
Awesome. We got to get you on his podcast. I'll make an introduction. He's awesome.
Oh, well, thank you. I heard that. I'm like, yes, that is exactly what we're talking about. We say, hey, hit them on at least two frequencies, right? And those frequencies have to match your brand, right? And then it's all the different nuances that you can go through on the marketing side. But that's the kind of the essence of our product and the reason why it is. And I don't want to thank you for letting me talk about my product so quickly. I really want to help kind of evangelize the problem as well, kind of within the space, because it is kind of a passion of mine to solve, which is why we've been working on it for so many years.
So I want to kind of like unpack this from a real estate agent, perspective and point of view. So, Brad, I'm a real estate agent. I have a database. Maybe some people have 500, maybe 1,000 people. Let's say I have 1,000 people in my database, and it doesn't matter what database I'm using.
Doesn't matter.
Okay, so what's step number one using your services? What do? I download a CSV file or something like that.
Yeah, all of them have export a mailing list.
Yeah, so I click export.
And then you literally drag it and drop it onto app.likely.ai. I mean, it's that simple. We made it so it's really, really doesn't take any spreadsheet jockey work.
Everybody can do that.
Everybody can do it.
Export it, you save it on your desktop, you drag it into Likely.AI, and then your software, your service just does its magic.
It's magic. You get a text within an hour. Once it's ready to go.
So let's walk through this. I get a text message. What happens when I get the text message? What do I get?
So the text message I'll take one step back so we can go two steps forward here.
Yeah.
So when you export it from your data, from your CRM or whatever you're using, you drag and drop the CSV or Excel file and just drop it onto app.likely.ai. From there, we do all the work in the back end, and we say, make sure you like these fields, and then hit get a free report. We then do all the work. We dedupe it, we normalize the addresses, we run our artificial intelligence models against it, and usually within about an hour, it'll be done. And so you get an email and a text. And when I say done, we mean that you get a free database report card. And what this tells you, and this is all around trying to say, hey, only do business with us if it adds value to your business. And so the report says,
what you're telling me is that there's no fee for this.
There's no fee up front. You can go and find out how valuable your database is before you spend a dime.
Okay, so if I put it in there and I get nothing back, I didn't lose anything but 2 minutes.
There you go. That's exactly it.
So if I put it in there and I get magic back, and then I see the value, then I will go ahead and click.
And purchase it, and you get all of the data and push it right into your marketing. And we make it simple. What we tell you on that report, we say, hey, this is how many of your addresses are legit.
Please walk us through that, because I want the audience to know what they are getting, so that way, they can reach out to you and say, hey, I want some of this magic.
I want some of this magic. I like that. I like how that sounds.
Exactly. So I want some of that magic sauce.
Yeah.
I get the report. Tell me what will that report give me? It's going to tell me tell me, I don't know. You tell me what.
There's three things it tells you, right?
Oh.
There's three things. One is how many of your addresses are good. So how many did we match and how many do we update with all this data, right? Second thing it tells you is how many properties in your database sold within the last 9 months. And we give you the gross commission income associated with that. The third thing it tells you is how much gross commission income potential that database has, which is how many likely sellers there are, multiplied by their medium AVM, by the commission amount. And then we give you a little thing, you can set it 3%, you can put 1% or 6% or whatever number you want, and it changes those numbers. So you can set it to say, okay, I think my database is pretty good. How valuable is it? How up to date is it? And what's shocking to people is they I get all my business from my database. They realize they don't get 70% of it. And it blows their mind. It's one of those bittersweet, but then it's you know what? I got to get better at keeping my database fresh. And that's one of those things, the database everyone talks about. The important part about it, in my opinion, is that it becomes an asset to the agent.
Yeah.
You look at the insurance business, they treat it like an asset because they can sell it when they retire.
My database is my savings account. My database is my book of business. My database is my family. My database is the legacy I leave behind. My database is everything.
That's exactly right. And yet we all treat it like it's our ugly stepsister or something that we just never take care of. And that's a terrible example. So please excuse me on that one, but it is, it's something you don't take any care of. And so what's crazy is, 14 to 20% of the data within your database basically becomes irrelevant each year because people move, they change their phone number, change their email. And when you look at these, we even show you one of the pieces is that you bring in the names into the system, we match the surnames. And so we show you, hey, these are all the properties that the last names don't match anymore. So you're marketing to someone that doesn't live there. So stop wasting your money, right? That there's no reason to. Now here's the person that currently lives there. Market to them. And that is something that people go, wait. How many people? And it's usually a pretty decent percentage of the overall contacts, because if you're anything like my family, I grew up in the industry. I remember doing the tri-folding stuff with my brother Greg that you asked about earlier.
Yeah.
When we were, I think I was 11, he was 13. It was a Blockbuster movie night, and we would, feel really. It was awesome. They rent 2 movies for us, so we each got to pick one. But then they would sit us in front of the movies with a long tray, and we do tri-fold and stuff the envelopes for my dad for his business. There's so much they get to do, and so much time that it took to do it, that we did it for him, right? And so that brought about the passion. I remember that night a lot, those nights going, there is so much that agents have to do. And so what we want to do is bring technology, and rather than make you go do something over here and then learn a whole new system, we want to try to make it really simple, give you the intelligence, and let you take it back to wherever you want to actually leverage it. And the entire way along, we try to remove friction from that journey. So you can literally just plug and play.
Right. So let's continue to unpack this from the real estate agent perspective, because I really want them to get how powerful this is. So first thing I get is an address match. So obviously, automatically, it is going to update my database. Like, I have now the most accurate information.
That's exactly
the second thing is going to tell me what sold in the last month. So now I have the awareness of like, well, okay, let's say 20 homes sold in the last 9 months and I only sold 2 of them. That means I lost $100,000 to $200,000 that was inside of my database that rightfully so should have been mine, but I have something broken. And it's like, I have so many people in my database. How do I know if this guy is thinking about that something, or that person, or how do I even know I'm sending it to the right address to where they are getting my mailer, etc. So you solve all of that problem.
That's it.
I think the big aha moment that, most agents are going to have immediately of like, I just lost $100,000 this year, and I'm like chasing anyone and everyone trying to find a lead and purchase a lead and all that stuff. When the lead, what do they call acres of diamonds? It's right here sitting underneath my foot, right there in my office, in my database, in my phone, etc. And I can tap it into that. And the third thing is, it's gonna give me an income projection, like what my potential is, what for the next 9 months, how many people are most likely to move.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And who they are, and updated information on them. Perfect. So that way you can reach them.
And then does your report based on how I put it back in my CRM, does it automatically trigger like a follow-up campaign, a mailing campaign, a text campaign kind of thing, or?
Yeah, so we have a lot of clients using almost every CRM and marketing platform out there. What we find is most of them use like a tag, or they have a pre-built campaign that when they say they load in lead source Likely.AI, right, and go, and it just triggers off, maybe it's a postcard campaign or digital ad campaign, or sends it off to an ISA to start calling into it again and setting up appointments, or whatever it is, how they do their business. We do that intentionally that way. So
I'm thinking this is freaking damn very, very, very genius. It's like I am no longer spending my time, my money, and my energy just, shooting spaghetti against the wall to see what's going to stick. I'm hitting the bullseye, or I'm getting as close to the bullseye as possible all the time. And I think in spending a lot less money, time, and energy on my marketing, because now I am becoming more present to the person that's looking for that presence. Therefore, I become the present to them.
I love how you say that. That is, we are trying to help you unwrap the gift.
And then they think, they manifested what they wanted. It's nothing more than Likely.AI. I love this.
We had one of our clients is a OP at a Keller Williams Market Center back in the East Coast. I just interviewed him recently to kind of see how he's doing, and he was crushing it with this, and I had no idea. So he gave me all these examples of things he was doing, and one of the things I heard you talk about was unwrapping and creating that relationship, building that relationship, that trust with anyone you're working with, but especially you want to make sure you keep that connection with your database, right? People or somewhat know in some way. And so what he's done is he used a company that we referred him to, just kind of something that we send business back and forth, that does hand-addressed invitation cards for 99 cents. And I didn't believe him. I thought that this company was a kook, because I'm like, there's no way you can actually hand address with a stamp for 99 cents. Like, no way. I called the CEO, interviewed him, had him send me a bunch of examples. I said, okay, that's legit. And we were getting like 10, 12, 13% response rates from it, tied with likely sellers. And so what our client did is he started sending out twice a month. That was his thing. He's like, all right, he's been an early adopter of trying lots of different technologies. And he's like, Brad, yours is not garbage. Like there's been so many that have come before you that were just flat out accuracy garbage. He's like, the first mailing I did, I got a $22 million listing appointment. I'm like, what? All right, say that louder for me, please. And so he's like, then I got lots of people starting coming in 6 weeks, 7 weeks later, almost like, we're going to do business together. And he's like, I would love to, obviously, Gunny goes into his thing. And he goes, well, why? He's like, well, obviously we're going to do business. You sent me five letters. It was that connection that he made. He's very smart in marketing, that he made through that personal touch. It wasn't a big shiny postcard or anything like that, because everyone knows that's generic. And everyone knows that everyone's supposed to stay in touch with the database, no matter what business you're in, right? So everyone kind of knows that game. But with a simple piece like that, it's a little bit more than a postcard. He was able to make a personal connection that stuck. And they said, we're doing business with you whenever we sell. And we're looking to move. So what do you think? And he's like, Brad, I can tell you, man, I'm getting so much of this inbound now. He's like, I got to start telling people about you. So he actually kind of pushed us towards offering like a regional broker market center kind of model, like offering for the product, because he's like, dude, I want this for my market center. I've got 3 parties here. I want to introduce all the other guys. Like, it has to be able to play there on an agent level, on a team level. You have to be able to hit all these points. And so, that's what we now take in the market.
I love it. So this is like the software that I want, or this is the technology that I want for me, and not let my competition find out about, right?
Yeah. That's pretty much. I don't want to be a dirty little secret, but we would be happy to give you that, competitive advantage. And that is really what it is.
What? Here's my, Brad, like literally, from my first introduction to you and looking into your company, there's no way on earth I'd let you be present to my audience if I didn't think it would serve my audience. And that's why I was very excited about like bringing you on here and stuff like that. And I'm going to flat out go out there and say, look, guys, you have absolutely nothing to lose. All you're going to do is you're going to export your database. Okay. You're going to drag and drop it into app.likely.ai. The application within 1 hour is going to come back and tell you, look, that's how much money you're losing. This is the stupid stuff in your database that you need to fix and update. And number 3, here's how much money you could make if you put your message in front of that audience, over the course of the next 9 months, etc. It's a no freaking damn brainer. It's like, I'm pitching this for you, brother, because
I'm not saying a thing. You're doing great.
No, honestly, I am not even doing that for you. I'm doing that for the people that trust the show, because
thank you.
There's absolutely no risk. And I want everybody to just plug it in and get back that report. And then I want you to communicate to me, because I want to know what that report looked like for you, etc., so I can help you capitalize on what your potential income that's coming up for you. Now,
there's something I'd love to do with you. We have not publicly talked about this at all, but we've just kind of done dev work on it. What we've been thinking about running is a contest, right? Where we built a share button on this free report card that shares it onto Facebook and tags Likely Data. And it puts a couple of stats, basically how valuable is your database, right? If your audience wants to get in on this, I think we're going to run it for probably July. And we're going to have some cut points. So if someone has, 15,000 people, they're not going to compete with someone that has 500 people, right? But we want to give away some free database refreshes, right? So periodically, maybe once a week, we'll have to figure out exactly based on volume, how often we give these away. But we've got our head of success that's just so excited. She keeps going, hey, when can we send this out? When can we start this contest? Because it's going to be awesome to watch. All these people, get that shock of, oh my gosh, I lost that business, but then simultaneously go, but look at all what I can if I just make a change, right? And making a change by connecting with a coach, by listening to, I've listened to so many of your previous guests. I'm honored to be on here. So much pearls, wisdom bombs across the board. Use you. Get it involved, engage with it, and then we'd love to deal with Tada and give it to you and kind of promote you as well. because we want this to be a tool for the industry coming up through the industry. There's a lot of people that want to replace everyone within the industry. Anyone that's actually been in real estate knows that that's not going to happen. Like, it requires us. It requires the human touch. And so think of us as a force multiplier.
I love it. I love it. So how can people, where should they go? Or where's the first place they should go?
To get in touch with us?
Absolutely, yeah. To either enter the contest, to try out the service. I don't care about the contest. That's just a big bonus.
Exactly. It's fun, and everyone can kind of have a good time with it. So you can email us at moredeals@likely.ai if you like email. You can chat with us on Facebook. You can just find likely.ai. But if you go to likely.ai, the website, you can read a little bit more about it. You can watch Cody Gibson does a great introduction video to the database refresh. He's a huge fan, a raving fan, I would call him, of the technology as well. And from there, any one of the forums, kind of let us know, and we'll have one of our people reach out to you and get you fully locked and loaded.
Awesome. So www.likely, which is LIKELY.ai. Just wanted to spell it out because there's somebody that's running on the treadmill right now, and can't click a link, etc. And then we will include all the links that Brad mentioned in the show notes at tlashow.com or chadibazzi.tv. We will make sure that the show notes are there for you to connect with Brad, connect with the company, etc. And I am gonna get off this training, like this podcast right now, and I'm gonna make a few phone calls immediately, sending people straight over to try it. And I want to look at that report myself too. So
thank you very much.
So Brad, obviously you know more about the genius behind Likely artificial intelligence more than I do. Is there a question that you feel like I should have asked you that I did not ask you that I should ask you right now?
A lot of people ask about how does it work, or how accurate is it? And rather than talk about us, I'd like to give a brief story that kind of, I think, illustrates it better than if I talk about us. And it's well known if you're a data scientist, and I didn't know it until I kind of really got into this world about 8 years ago. And it's a story about Target. And so Target, kind of before smartphones were really everywhere, they were starting to use data to make predictions on things and scoring things. And so one thing that they realized is that when a woman is pregnant, it's one of the only times to really change a shopping behavior pattern. And so they wanted to find women that were pregnant. But how do you do that, right? I mean, baby registries maybe, but then is everyone on the baby registry, or just the person being registered for? Like, how do you do that without just spamming everybody? And so what they did is they started to use data science. And what they looked at is kind of two things stood out to them. Is that in the first 20 weeks of pregnancy, women that were on these registries, if they were also pregnant, they bought large quantities of calcium, magnesium, and zinc. And also at the beginning of the second trimester, they bought large quantities of unscented lotion. Now, when I say it now, it's like, oh yeah, of course that makes sense. If you have a kid, like, of course, but it wasn't clear in the data. And the story goes is that this father came into the store livid. I mean, just cussing the manager up and down. How could you dare send all of these advertisements to my underage daughter? What do you think she is? Getting around, all that. Manager didn't know what to do. I'm so sorry, sir. I don't know. And so the father finally leaves, comes back 2 weeks later, hat in hand. Sir, I owe you an honest apology. I had a real conversation with my daughter, and she is pregnant. And it was one of those like, what moments? Like, Target knew that your daughter was pregnant before you did. Like, sink that in. I've got 2 daughters and a son. What? Right? Now, this was before Cambridge Analytica. This is before all of those shows and all that. Like, this is, you type your little number, and when you go to any store like a Safeway or a Target or wherever, that's what they're doing. And all they're doing, guys, like I started this off, AI is not, I like your magic, so I'm not going to say that. AI is not all knowing. It's really good at certain things and bad at a lot of other things that people give it credit for, right? So pattern matching, that is what this did. Then it classified them into one of those categories, right? And so that's what we do for real estate. Now, it's harder because we don't have this clean set of data that Target did, right? And they know exactly what you buy because you type your little number in. So we have to pull it from over 3,142 municipalities. We have over 300 million demographic files, each with 400 data points on it. We have to keep them current so the right people in the right homes everywhere they are. Then we bring in macro market data like VIX index, consumer confidence, weather patterns, like all kinds of crazy stuff, all to predict the appearance on the MLS, right? And so it is this slugfest of data munging in order to bring it to a simple form that we can deliver in a as frictionless way as possible, so agents, real estate investors, and lenders can get the benefit of AI.
Man, this is like the third, fourth time you blow my mind on this interview. This whole entire thing about like the father and the Target story. Like Target knew your daughter was pregnant before you knew your daughter was pregnant. And to me, that's like the power of identifying the seller that wants to sell his home before anyone else in the marketplace. And the beauty about your service is that, we're a top listing agent company. That's what we do. We help people, list homes, take more listings and all that good stuff. So that's why this is so perfect for my audience, because when you do capture the listing, you don't just capture the listing. You also capture the buyer. The seller might need to buy another home and or the referral to refer them if they're moving on to somewhere else. So it's like 2 or 3x. Like you might want to update like your potential to 2x, 3x, because there's all those factors that take in place as well. Brad, this has been amazing. I thank you very much for your time. I thank our audience for our listening. I definitely want you guys to connect with Brad. Look him up online, follow him, stay a part of his world. I want you, if you're watching this on YouTube, I want you to subscribe to the channel so you could get more videos like this, and make sure you like and comment. Thank Brad in the comments for showing up here to help you and serve you. Thank
you for having us. I really appreciate you. I mean, I thank you for the opportunity to tell our story. And if we can help your audience, we look forward to that opportunity.
Awesome. So one last time, Likely.AI is the place to go. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.